Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back in with another video, and this is going to be episode 1 of the LEGO Star Wars MOC Showcase. This is a series I've wanted to do for a really long time. There are so many hidden gems of LEGO Star Wars MOCs out there, and I finally feel I have a large enough following to really benefit the builders showcased in these videos. Each week, I'll take a group of MOCs and do an overview of them here on this series. I'll try my best to include recent MOCs, but each week I'll showcase an older MOC that I feel still deserves recognition. If you're watching this video and are impressed with any of these MOCs, all I ask is that you click the links I have in the description and support the builder by giving them a comment, like, or even a follow. I want to make sure this series is as beneficial to the builder as possible. And let's begin. First MOC we're going to look at is by Boba 1980, and this is essentially a microfighter scaled version of the Crait battle, and oh my god is this thing amazing. You guys know that I love minifig scale things more than anyone, but this was just too great to pass up. The biggest thing that sticks out to me is that he literally included every possible detail you could have wanted on a Crait MOC in this microfighter scaled version of it. You can see he has a battering ram cannon being towed by those AT heavy haulers. He has a custom Kylo shuttle right above it, which actually looks really nice. One of the things that also impressed me about this MOC is the aesthetic of the little trenches with the bunkers right above them. I mean, they're scaled down versions of it, but it looks just amazing. Like, it looks, exactly as you would expect it to look on Crait. So he did a wonderful job on that. Even more impressive is actually the backside of the MOC, and you can see that once again he spared no details in everything in this MOC. If you look at the very top, I think it's just so cute how the little cutout of the ski speeder is like the exact shape that it needs to be for the microfighter to fit in there. I find that really funny. The other thing he was able to include at the bottom is just like everything you could imagine would be in this space. He has the First Order shuttle that Finn and Rose crash into the base. He has one of those resistance shuttles to the bottom left corner. He has the main room where Leia is sitting, and then to the right side, he even included one of those drill machines that are covered up by the tarp, which is actually a really cool detail and one that I would have loved to include it in my Crait MOC, but I just didn't find the time to. I think the biggest takeaway from this MOC is that no matter what scale you choose to do, you can always include tons of detail, and it really is amazing that a MOC of this size probably has more detail than the MOC that Garrett and I did. There's just more things in this MOC that were from Crait, and I just think that's actually quite amazing. So wonderful job. This next MOC we're going to look at is by Flickr user JanT, and it is essentially a freeform Endor MOC. People are always recommending me to try a freeform MOC, and honestly it's a little intimidating for me. I like the safety and comfort of base plates, but you can see that JanT definitely did a great job in putting it together here in this Endor MOC. Out of this entire MOC, the thing that really sticks out to me is that tree to the right side. You can see that he uses at least 3 or 4 different type of leaf pieces, and in theory this really shouldn't work out, but it just does. It just looks like actually a really nice looking tree, and the shaping is perfect on it. I think that he did a great job on it, and that was actually something that I would probably consider moving forward if I were to do an Endor MOC. I like the use of the palm tree leaves, the new ones and the old ones in there, and then like the bamboo pieces as you move further up to the top. He also did quite a good job on the shaping of the bunker. The bunker is actually not an easy thing to replicate in LEGO because of those weird angles and the ridges in the front of it, but I think that he did actually great job on recreating it. The custom AT-ST, it also looks really nice. It looks much better than any of the LEGO AT-STs. One of the other things I can appreciate about this MOC is that he actually included some custom Inferno Squad figures in there. I believe that this MOC was actually made before the Inferno Squad battle pack came out, but the fact that he was able to include custom ones is actually really cool, and it is nice to know that, as more people are making Endor MOCs now, there is so much more added to the lore of Endor. It isn't the case that people always have to do just like, the Ewok attack or the things that we see traditionally from episode 6, but there's so many more things we've seen in Endor, which really opens up the types of MOCs that people can make of it, and I think that's actually really cool. That being said, he did include a little Ewok hut on the leftmost tree, and you can also see Wicket down at the bottom left corner. Looks like he has a little bit of a plot coming up, so I'd love to see what he ends up doing there. This next MOC is the little Duel of the Fates vignette by Ordo. I do want to showcase MOCs of various sizes here on this series. A lot of people are always asking me, I have a confined collection and a confined amount of space, what kind of MOC do you suggest I do? And you can see that this is less than like a 32 by 32 base plate, but it is still an incredible looking MOC. So that's one of the things I also want to stress on this series. Regardless of the amount of space you have to work with, you can always create something that looks very impressive. One of the things I do like that he did in this MOC is actually the reverse slope technique on the door. Doors and walls in Star Wars MOCs are something that can be actually quite a challenge to get looking really nice. It's very easy to just build up bricks and boom, you have a wall or a door, but it actually does take quite a bit of effort to make a wall or a door that looks detailed and looks like something unique and cool in the Star Wars universe, and I certainly think he did a great job with that. Also, the floor design actually looks quite nice. Looks like he used a snot technique for the entire thing, which is always nice. It allows you to get a lot more of those unique patterns in there. I don't really have much more to say about this MOC other than that it is a great little vignette and a really cool way to show off some of your episode 1 figures if you decide to do something like this. And keeping with the theme of little vignettes that you can make, this one is by Flickr user TWP, and it is a vignette of the debriefing from Star Wars episode 6 on the home one. And while because of what this build is, it's not going to be the most impressive thing, which certainly isn't meant to take anything away from the build, it's actually quite nice, but it's still just, you know, stairs with the hologram in front. But the really great thing about this MOC is it is an excellent way to display your minifigures. I'm always looking for cool creative ways to display my Lego Star Wars minifigures in scenes that come from the films that maybe don't take up too much space on a shelf because I just want to, you know, nice compact way to display the figures. And this is about as effective as a way if I've seen it done really ever. I mean, look at all the things you can incorporate in this MOC. You have your Mon Calamari guys at the bottom left corner as well as an Astro Droid. You have your various groups of pilots like Green Squadron and Red Squadron all assembled at the top left corner. You have your episode 6 Luke coming in at the top. You have your technicians right next to him. You have a whole Endor squadron. You got Lando sitting right behind the hologram. Like, you got Mon Mothma up front along with some other rebel officers. Like, this is such an effective way to display your figures. The build looks good. The fact that it's a recognizable scene is also great, and there's just such a great variety of figures here that really makes this MOC really stand out. So great job on this, and I would honestly love to do something like this to display a lot of my pilots and just rebel figures in general. This next MOC is by kWfathan, and it is of the Canto Bight Casino and Chase. Just when you thought that Canto Bight couldn't be interesting, you have someone come along and make an amazing MOC of it. One of the things that really stands out to me about this picture is firstly just the details on the background of the buildings. Like, look at that. That is such an amazing use of parts and slopes and colors, and they combine to make really realistic and detailed looking buildings. I wish there were better pictures of this MOC. These are the only 3 that I could find, but from what I can see here, this is a great looking MOC. He has the speeders out front, and of course the Fathiers are probably eventually going to stomp all over those, but they still are a very cool addition to it. If we move on to the inside of the casino area, you can see that he has a great use of various aliens throughout the Lego universe. I mean, we see so many unique people in Canto Bight. That's actually a great use for a lot of those aliens. I think the one that sticks out to me is the one from Toy Story right there. It even has Stitch over in the corner, which is actually quite hilarious. But that grand piano build is actually quite nice. If you move over a little bit, you can see more of like the tables and what I presume would maybe be like a dance floor. And all in all, this is just a really nice looking MOC. Canto Bight is definitely not a lot of people's favorite sequence from The Last Jedi, but I think that this definitely does make it a little bit more interesting of a sequence because he did just such a great job at just the build itself, and of course incorporating many unique looking minifigures. And hey, look, there's BB-8 standing there on the steps. Every week I'm going to try to do a work in progress MOC on this series, and whenever there's updates on the MOC, I'll bring those updates to you. The first one that we'll look at is by Cavegod. He is working on a UCS minifig scaled version of the Upsilon class First Order shuttle, aka Kylo Ren's command shuttle, and this thing is a monster. I'm honestly surprised that we don't see more of these. Obviously Garrett made his, and another builder by the name of Chris Wright actually built one that was featured in one of my Legoland Star Wars Days videos, but this one is just amazing. Like, he really, I think, just nailed the design of the cockpit, which is one of the most important parts of this vehicle. Like, the wings are important too, but that because it's really just wings and a cockpit, it's actually quite important that you get the cockpit down correctly, and I think he just did a phenomenal job at it. There's no telling when this thing will get finished, but I definitely anticipate seeing him complete it. Finally, we're going to take a look at this week's Throwback MOC, and it is none other than Brickplumber Endor MOC. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this already, but I really felt it was important to put in this video just because of how influential it was to me. I've told the story many times that what really got me into Lego Star Wars as an AFOL is going to this Legoland Star Wars Days convention and seeing this MOC in person. To this day, it is still the most amazing and stunning Lego Star Wars creation that I've ever seen in person. There are just so many individual amazing parts of it, whether it be the giant satellite, the giant indoor trees, or the giant landing platform with the UCS Imperial Shuttle sitting on top of it to minifig scale that all combine to make something that is literally just breathtaking. It honestly makes me sad that this MOC no longer exists. He took it apart and I'll probably never see it again in this form, but it was just such an amazing thing to see in person. The thing that really stuck out to me when I first saw it in person was just the amount of detail in the ground. There were just so many individual grass pieces and rocks and colors thrown in there throughout the entire MOC, and this is no small MOC. I think this is like over 100 32 by 32 green base plates, which is just insane, but there are just so many details all throughout this thing. It looks like every single part of it was just so well thought out, and I cannot stress enough how amazing this MOC is. If you haven't seen his overview video on it, I definitely urge you to go do so after this video because this thing is just breathtaking. I remember seeing this MOC in person and being really inspired by his minifig scale AT-AT walkers. He has since then improved this thing actually quite a bit, but this actually really influenced me to build my custom AT-AT walker, which was really my first big MOC that I did, and I took so many pictures of this when I first saw it. I was so convinced like I'm going to build his giant walker. I ended up building my own, but this thing was just really impressive to me, and like if you really consider just how old this model was, like I think he had this AT-AT built over a decade ago. It actually really is just impressive that he had something built that looked so good such a long time ago. The last thing I want to say about this MOC is that it also is the MOC that inspired me to do Easter eggs. He had so many funny little tidbits going throughout this MOC. He had Katniss and Peeta running through the forest. He had Lord of the Rings characters running through it. So many different cool, funny, creative things to include in this MOC that really is consistent with the LEGO sense of humor, and that definitely influenced a lot of the funnier aspects that I include in my MOCs. Honestly, this MOC taught me a lot of the things and principles that I use when creating my MOCs nowadays. That's going to fit into the video today, guys. I do hope that you enjoyed taking a look at these beautiful MOCs with me, and like I said, if there's anything that you do after watching this video, definitely go support the builders. These people spent tons of hours into making these MOCs, and I want to make sure they get the recognition that they deserve. Let me know what you guys think about this series. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I want to hopefully continue it within the weeks to come, and I think it will allow all of us to give some commentary on some of the most beautiful LEGO Star Wars MOCs out there. Like I always say, guys, if you like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.